Hey everyone, it's Bill from CambodiYeah here. I'm going to talk a little bit about lifestyle expectations and cost of living in Cambodia because there seems to be a lot of confusion online. Some people think Cambodia is really expensive and some people find it dirt cheap. And what I have found is that it largely depends on what your lifestyle expectations are as to how expensive or cheap it will be for you. So here's what I have found affects the perception the most. And it's basically how much of a Western lifestyle do you expect to live while you're in Cambodia? And this will be a bit of generalization, but I've noticed there's roughly about four different groups of expats in Cambodia. And of course, there's going to be outliers and exceptions, because that's life and don't worry about it. These are just general observations. So I've noticed the first group are the rich people, the people who don't even notice what stuff costs because they have so much money, they just buy what they want and they live how they will, and it doesn't faze them. So like the cost of living isn't even really a factor to them. Then there's the second group, the people who tend to think that Cambodia is expensive because they have high expectations of a Western lifestyle. They want to have all the things they had back in the West. They want to have a lot of electronics. They want to run their AC all the time. They want to own a car. They don't shop at the wet markets. They go to the supermarkets. They eat out at restaurants all the time. They're buying Western items a lot that come at a premium because since they come from the West, they're being imported and there are those import costs on top of the cost of the item, so it's going to cost more. Because they need all these Western things and they're trying to live a Western lifestyle in a place that's not the West, they are paying a premium, and they will find that many things are more expensive in Cambodia than they would have been back home. And that's kind of to be expected. The third group, people who are financially moderate. They're not rich, they're not poor. They don't need to live entirely like they do in the West. They have some creature comforts that they want that they just would rather not do without, and they understand that those things will be more expensive. But they're not trying to totally live like they do in the West. They're not afraid to go shop at the wet markets. They'll have a balance of going there and occasionally going to the supermarkets for things as well. They'll eat at more local restaurants than Western restaurants, and so the meals will be cheaper than the second group. Sometimes they may go to the roadside food stalls or cook at home, kind of saving costs that way. They won't use their AC all the time. They may have like a moto or something instead of a full-on car, and just don't buy a lot of Western items so they don't end up spending a whole lot. And for them, it's significantly cheaper to live in Cambodia than it would be at their home country. And then the fourth group, which is where I more or less fit in, people with not a whole lot of money, live more simply, don't really need a lot of Western items and don't expect to live a Western lifestyle really at all, and go to the wet markets a lot, eat at the roadside food stalls a lot rather than the restaurants, cook at home a lot, don't run the AC a whole lot, and just kind of keep it simple and cheap. And for this group, things are significantly cheaper than in the United States, at least, and most other Western countries. And I have found that for this group, I would say a cost of living for the fourth group, roughly $600 a month. I'm expecting mine to be between $600 and $700 because there's a couple of things I'm going to be getting, not much. If you're in the second group, you can expect maybe $800 up to $1,000 or so a month for all of your expenses. It largely depends how much electricity you use because electricity is expensive. And if you're running the AC all the time, that is going to rack up a big electric bill. And also if you're running a lot of electronics in general. If you're the third group, probably $1,200 or more a month, maybe up to $2,000. It could get up there depending on just how much you need that Western lifestyle and how much you need all those amenities. And for the first group, sky's the limit, I guess. They have all the money. Doesn't faze them anyway. Your experience in Cambodia will very largely depend on your lifestyle expectations and what you feel like you need to have. If you're looking for more specifics, ask me questions. I'm glad to answer them. But I just wanted to discuss this because I see a lot of back and forth online of people, like some people are saying, I can't believe how expensive Cambodia is. And then other people are like, what the heck are you talking about? It's dirt cheap. And so, yeah, it just boils down to your expectations. That will determine largely how much you're spending in Cambodia. And also keep in mind that if you're sticking around Pub Street and shopping at Old Market all the time, even though Old Market is a wet market, its prices are going to be higher than a lot of the other wet markets because it's right near Pub Street, and that's the whole tourist area, and tourists are going to get charged a premium because a lot of stuff is still going to be cheaper to them than it was back home, but they're still paying a lot more than people who don't hang out around Pub Street a whole lot. And of course, I'm speaking about Siem Reap because it's what I know. Things may be a bit different in Phnom Penh. I imagine things are somewhat more expensive there, but even there, it will still very largely depend on your expectations. So I hope this helps clear up any confusion on whether or not Cambodia is expensive. If you want me to cover anything else, let me know. I'll do what I can. Take care. Bye-bye.